Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight. And my guest tonight is Krystle Martin, who plays Cindy in the horror film The Mean One. How's it going, Krystle?
Hello. Really good. Thanks for having me.
So what have you been up to lately?
Well, we've been on strike. Don't know if you've heard.
Yeah.
So it's been a little dead lately. I was lucky enough, though, to get on a interim agreement project recently for a feature-length indie horror movie called The Mannequin. So I did a few days stunt coordinating on that, and I got to play a small role. So that was really cool.
That's what I like about you. You're awesome because you're a stunt performer. You can do everything, from fighting.
Right. I try.
Taking hits. That's like me. I used to be part of an independent professional wrestling promotion where,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so I know how to take hits and bumps too.
Yeah. That's no joke. I had a friend who was a wrestler out in the UK, and he showed us the ropes a little bit, and it's legit. It's a whole other genre of awesome.
So, did he make you run the ropes, and how did it feel when you were running the ropes?
Yeah, I was surprised. It almost looks more fun in person, but it's a legit kind of hit when you take it. And then if you use it to bounce you into other people, you have to be really in control to make that work and look good and make sure everyone stays safe.
I know those ropes tore me up. I had whelps all over the sides of my body from running back like this, and yeah, I know how it is.
They make it look so easy. I thought it was going to be kind of more elastic, but they're hard.
Yeah. Hey, the mat's even hard too.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. They're excellent athletes.
Oh, they're definitely. I respect them totally, and they respect me. So, how'd you become part of The Mean One? How'd you get the role of Cindy?
I was lucky to have worked with our director, Stephen Lamorte, on a short film it was called The Powerpuff Girls, The Long Way Back. So I had already played kind of a butt-kicking character. I got to play Bubbles in that. And I had a great time working with him, and apparently I didn't irritate him too much because he called me back when he was thinking about just doing a trailer he called me up. He's like, I got this crazy idea. I want to make this kind of Grinch-inspired horror short film or trailer. And he was like, I know that it's right before Christmas. It was the year before we actually made the film. And he's like, but I'm just, we'll shoot it really quickly and then we'll get it out really quickly and it'll just be for a fun project. And I was like, absolutely, that sounds great. So we shot this trailer, and then when we came out with the trailer, everyone was like, that was amazing. When is this movie coming out? And we're like, oh no, that was it. just for fun, just the trailer. And people would not take no as an answer. They wanted to see this movie, and I think that got him thinking about it more and starting to work on it. And he has Flip Kobler that had worked with us on Powerpuff Girls, his writer, and they started coming up with a script for The Mean One. And then I got the call after the script was already done, and they're like, hey, we would really like you to be a part of this. And once I read the script, I was like, this is great. I want to play.
That's pretty good. The film The Mean One reminds me of a twisted Hallmark Christmas movie between Elm Street and a little mixture of The Nightmare Before Christmas. I mean, it's a bloody Hallmark horror film to me.
Yeah, I had never heard that term before. It was like all of a sudden a bunch of our fans were calling it Hallmark horror, and I don't know if that just came up for ours or if that was something that already existed, but I think it's adorable and I love that moniker. Absolutely.
I love it too. Wouldn't that be funny if they really played it on a Hallmark channel?
Oh my gosh. I don't know how that would land with their usual audience, but maybe we'd have a nice crossover.
It would be good and bloody, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so in the start of the film, you're Cindy, and you go through a traumatic, experience. I mean, you lose everything, man. I mean, because your friends supposedly would be with Santa. Of course, everybody knows he's the mean one. And then 20 years later, you go back, to your hometown of Newville with your father, and then everything started going crazy again.
Right, yeah. And what really drew me to this role is it's a little bit of everything. I have like an entire acting reel now. Just if I just wanted to use the footage through this movie, I got to do dramatic scenes, and I got to do romantic scenes, and of course the horror scenes and action scenes, and it was just a little bit of everything. So it was a really nice mix for me personally.
Also, you did all your own fight choreography in the film too, right?
Our stunt coordinator, Terrence Rotolo, who I had also worked with before, put together the choreography. We kind of came up with some of it together when we were both on set already. We would kind of spitball a little bit how we wanted it to go. But I had so much on my plate with memorizing and creating my character that I was really glad to have him there to be able to work with and create things together. It took a lot of pressure off, and he's great in his own right as a stunt coordinator. So it was really great to have him there and make sure that all the angles were landing. I've worked on some things before where I've stunt coordinated and played a role and done stunts, and it happens sometimes on any projects because everyone's doing like 4 or 5 jobs trying to make a project happen on a very small budget. But anytime that you can spread out that work, it's just the work is going to be so much better.
I think so too. And now let's talk about the weapons. You had so much fun to get to play with Christmas themed weapons. How much fun was that, especially with the Christmas bulbs grenades? Who made those?
Great.
That's clever.
We had an awesome set tech team and prop department that put them together. I had a scene, of course, of like putting things together for the story of creating them, but they made all of those, and they had the great idea. Both our director and our writer came up with the idea of like having this tactical vest all outfitted with the different ornament bombs. And I giggled when I read that. I was so excited, and then it really looks good on camera. I like it a lot. And getting to do a running jump and throw and explosion, and oh my god, so much fun.
And then all your weapons were like painted like candy canes, which was priceless.
Right. It was really clever. I mean, it's all in fun, right? Like,
yeah.
It gets it can be a little, like some people would say, kitschy or campy, but I think that's part of the fun of it. For sure. That's
what I like about indie horror. It can be serious and also can be fun and campy at the same time. That's what's so perfect about independent horror, in my opinion. I love films like that, where it's a little serious, that a little campness. I also like some films where it has a little bit of bad acting, too.
Well, hopefully you guys like what we did.
Now, what was it like to work with David Howard Thornton? Everybody knows him as Art the Clown, but he plays the Grinch. What was it like to have screen time with him and also kick his ass?
David is awesome. He's so generous as a scene partner, and I couldn't believe how much he was able to emote through the makeup. Like, you would think that it would be hard to have good facial expressions or really make that connection with these like layers upon layers of prosthetics that he had on. But one scene in particular toward the end, like, I just couldn't believe how much of a connection we had just through his eyes. Like, I was able to feel moved by him and his character in that moment, despite the makeup and everything. Like, he was just such a great actor that I think we have a really good tender moment at the end.
Oh yeah, you do. That whole ending through a twist, that took me like all the way around the ballpark. I was like, what? This is how it's going to end? And also, I kind of like how they did it, the after credits scene too, which was kind of funny too, about social media and all that. You know, I love how the writer and director poked fun at social media after the credits scene. I thought that was funny.
Well, and it was kind of paying homage to how we got our start. Yet, if so many people hadn't commented on social media and blew up after we created that trailer, and then even after we just released our first picture saying that this was going to be a thing and that we would be releasing it, everybody just went crazy. And without that kind of enthusiastic support, this never would have been possible. And then we went to theaters, which is just a dream come true for any indie project, being able to go to theaters. And then we thought it might just be 1 week in theaters, but every week we would get extended. We were there for, I think, over 6 weeks. And during the holiday season, which was one of the hardest times to be in theaters, it was awesome.
So, did you go see it at the theater? And then what was your experience like being surrounded by film goers and how they were experiencing the film?
Oh yeah, we had our premiere here in LA, which was really great. I got to bring my mom, and that was her first time walking the red carpet with me, and that was very special. I think that'll be a special memory for us forever. But then I went multiple times. Shortly after that, we went and visited my boyfriend's family, my now fiance. His family out in North Carolina. We got to go watch it with them, and it's so funny because we had quite a few people in the theater, and it had already been out for a while. But as we were leaving, I went to go to the bathroom, and my fiance saw several people kind of eyeballing me and doing double takes, and they kind of would like go whisper amongst themselves, and then I like passed by and went to the bathroom, and he's like, "It's her," and they all go, "No way, really? What?" Like in North Carolina, they just were not expecting me to be there watching my own movie in a theater. I think they really got a kick out of it. We all took pictures together afterwards.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. If I know somebody was whispering about me and saw me in a film, I would walk up behind them and go, "Yeah, that was me."
Yeah. It's kind of surreal. It's really nice to see how people have connected with it, and I'm just excited that people are enjoying it.
So, since you took your mom to go see you on the big screen, is your mom a big horror fan or what?
No, she's more of a wimp like me. I am such a baby about horror films. I have made myself watch a few of them because I feel like they're referenced in our culture so much, like The Exorcist. I made myself watch. But I have a very active imagination, and I usually sleep very well, and I like it that way. So I don't watch many of them. Even my own horror movies that I'm in, and I know how they were made, they still get me with all the jump scares. I'm such a baby.
That's weird how you're afraid of, horror and you get scared, but here you are, doing all these horror films.
Yeah.
The whole movie was good. I finally, got it on Blu-ray because I support physical media, so I had to have it for my collection. I mean,
oh, thank you.
Yeah, I thought it was real clever because ever since The Mean One came out, everybody wanted to do their own take of the film like that. You had Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. You had Cocaine Bear. I mean, and now you're getting it. Now there's coming out of an indie film about a Cinderella horror story. So that's going to be a trip.
I mean, anything we can do to increase the amount of indie films getting made and getting noticed, I think is huge, because there should be more artists being able to make space for themselves in this industry. It shouldn't be all these studio films that, it's kind of like art by committee. They're testing them to make sure that they sell well with the biggest majority of audience so that they make the most money. And, that's just going to homogenize our films and the taste, and what we get to go see is all going to kind of be the same. And so I like getting more voices in the space. I think it's really exciting.
So do you think indie horrors get more popular, and do you think we're going to see more and more of them at the movie theaters besides the big mainstream films?
I sure hope so. I mean, look at the Blair Witch Project. Like that's a great example of, if you create a good film, and especially with horror, because you can do a lot with less budget, I think you can, if you make something good, it can go far. You just need to just make it happen for yourself, and don't be afraid and put it off because other people are out there like trying to do it too, and everyone should feel empowered to make their own art and put it out there as much as they can. I mean, look how far we went. Nobody knew that it was going to take off like this, and we're all just so thrilled that it has.
Yeah, your role of Cindy, you did a good job in the acting part of it. You were able to turn your character on and off, going from a sweet Cindy to a kick-ass Cindy, and wondering if the deputy is in love with you or not. I love how you turned your mood on and off. That was so perfect about your role.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, like I said, just it's nice to get to play so many different facets of a character all in one.
So what got you into stunt work?
I went to to school for acting, and I really loved all the stage combat classes, but I didn't think it was going to be a career until I met a bunch of stunt people on sets and hanging out at Muscle Beach in Santa Monica. I would go there to like play on the rings and do acro, and I met a bunch of people there that were stunt people, and they started inviting me to work out with them and train, and I just started doing that for fun. And then I started booking live stunt shows, and that kind of gave me a really nice base to learn and grow from my peers. And I toured with a show called Marvel Universe Live for 3 years in the U.S. and Canada and Europe, and that was like getting paid to go to stunt school. It was such a great foundation, and then I came back and started booking more film and TV work with stunts while continuing different live shows that were local to LA.
So when you're part of the Marvel Universe, what character did you get to play?
On that tour, I played Captain Marvel and a bunch of the ensemble bad guy characters.
So how much fun was it to play Captain Marvel?
Oh, it was great. At the time that I was touring, nobody really knew who she was because the movies weren't out yet. In fact, when I got cast, I was like, yay! Who's Captain Marvel? So I had a lot of research to do, and I fell in love with the comic books and her whole story arc, and she's kind of nerdy and playful and goofy while also being a huge powerhouse, and I loved that about her, and it was really fun to play. But sometimes I would fly out on stage and they'd be like, it's Wonder Woman, and I'm like, you're in the wrong universe. How did you get in here?
Hey, it's not the DCU, it's the Marvel Universe. I'm
Exactly.
Captain Marvel. I mean, I may have the blue and red like Wonder Woman, but my costume's a little bit different. I fly and I kick ass.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so when you're not doing stunt work or acting, does Krystle have a nerdy passion she likes? You got that little nerdiness in you?
My fiance is a little bit more of a nerd than I am, but he has kind of gotten me we played a little bit of D&D. That was really fun. We go play disc golf. I don't know if that's considered nerdy. But what's been taking up my time a lot lately, especially with the strike going on, is I've gotten more into scuba diving. And we took this time to become scuba instructors. So we went through the program together, and we've been teaching scuba in addition to everything else we do. Also, another hobby would be we do the Highland Games. So we wear kilts and throw heavy things. I actually have a competition this weekend.
Oh, wow. So do you compete with the big, burly Scottish guys?
Yep. They're on my team. We train with a team called the San Fernando Valley Underlanders. And we have a lot of the big, burly guys that you would picture doing that. And a few women, and I always encourage women to get into it too and not think that it's just for the big burly guys. Like, we can be strong and throw heavy things too.
All right. So you're talking about you're being a part of a horror film called The Mannequin. What's that about?
I don't know how much I can elaborate on that. I can tell you that it's an indie movie, horror movie it's called The Mannequin, based around a group of friends and a mannequin that goes into horror. But that should be out in 2025. What was really cool for the character that I played is I'm towards the beginning of the movie, and it's actually set back in time, so it's during the 50s, and so they shot that part in black and white. And I had no idea it would be such a dream come true to get to see myself in black and white. I watched some Katharine Hepburn movies to like prepare, and we were working on kind of the speech patterns that they used at the time. And man, getting to see a little bit of the footage of myself in black and white just was so fun and exciting, and I had no idea that I was holding some like deep-seated dream to see that, because you dream of acting, and that's kind of what you envision from back in the day, like the classic Hollywood, and I got to live out all my old Hollywood dreams.
That's pretty awesome. I love black and white films too. Nowadays, the younger generation can't get into black and white films. I just thought I love black and white films because the actresses and the actors back in those days, they were so smooth and classy.
Yeah, we definitely played with that vibe. And in it, the whole movie is not in black and white. It's just that beginning part, but it's a nice sequence, and I'm excited about that footage.
Well, you got my attention. I'm looking forward to seeing that, too. I mean, it's like something about Mannequin in a horror film that got me intrigued. It's got to be kind of like crazy fun.
Yeah, it's directed by my friend John Berardo. We went to UCLA acting school together, and he's just become such a powerhouse of a director. And it was really fun to get to work with him. It had been like 9 years since the last time we worked together, so it was really fun. And we had a lot of people from the UCLA theater program on the project. So it was kind of a reunion of sorts. It was awesome.
That's pretty cool. So have you done any like action films, like straight like straight beat 'em up, shoot 'em up action type of films?
Well, I've done a lot of stunt doubling for different shows. LA has kind of become a bit more of a TV town. So I've done more television than like big films. A lot of those shoot in Atlanta or a lot in Canada now too. But I've been on American Horror Stories, so continuing our horror vibe. I've done it's the spinoff of American Horror Story.
Yeah.
And I've done 3 episodes of that.
Wow.
Doubling different people. And then I also have been on 911, 911 Lone Star, The Rookie, shows like that. CSI Vegas I did last year.
That's fun. You got to be on The Rookie with Nathan Fillion, man. I'd be geeking out around that guy.
Yeah, he seems very, very kind.
I do really enjoy American Horror Stories. I like it a little bit different than American Horror Story because each episode's a story on its own, which I like, right. and it's like different and clever. I mean, I love like those type of horror anthology type of series.
Yeah, it's nice when they do every episode being different like that because it creates more opportunity for both actors and stunt performers to come in brand new and get to work on an episode rather than it being the same people throughout.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And The Walking Dead did the same thing too. Tales of the Walking Dead, where they introduced like different people from the Walking Dead universe, and it was a different story each week, which was kind of nice because the original Walking Dead towards the end was just dragging bad.
That's cool. I haven't heard of that one. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's called Tales of the Walking Dead. It did the first season last year, and there's going to be another season coming. It's like 7 episodes. You'd like it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Yeah, you better check it out. No, I'm just kidding. So, what was the first... Okay, since you watched The Exorcist, of course, what was one horror film that really got under your skin and kind of messed you up in your head? I mean, besides The Exorcist.
I mean, The Exorcist does stand out. That part where she comes backwards down the stairs and blood comes out of her mouth. I can never unsee that. That is in my head forever, and I kind of wish it wasn't. But that's making myself watch things. Also, I watched it. My fiance got me to watch that, and he's like, "Oh, it's not so bad." And I've definitely like woken him up in the middle of the night because I'm scared now. I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom, and you need to be awake.
Which It did you watch? Did you watch the Tim Curry It or the new one?
I guess it's the new one with Skarsgård.
Yeah, Skarsgård. You got to go back and watch the one with Tim Curry. Tim Curry was a scary Pennywise too. That will even mess up your mind even more, and then you're going to be shaking your boyfriend in bed going, "Don't sleep, don't sleep."
Yeah, I am good off that. I like sleep. Sleep is good.
I know, right? You don't want to be like getting all like messed up with the whole, horror thing.
I do wish that I enjoyed it more and I wasn't such a baby because my fiance loves watching horror movies, and I wish that I could be a little bit more game for him, but he has friends he can go do that with.
Hey, at least you can sit and watch John Wick, right?
Yeah, action's fine. And even like thrillers are fine. It's where you get into the supernatural stuff that I get creeped out.
Oh yeah, a good supernatural story is really good, especially the ones that mess with your head, where there's like practical effects, no CGI, you don't see no bloody kills or anything. It just warps your mind.
Yeah, that dread, that slow, suspenseful dread that builds, I don't like it. And that's his favorite. He loves that.
I bet he did. So, where can everybody find you on social media? Can they see what you're going to be doing next?
Yeah, pretty much the only thing I'm really good about posting in is Instagram, and I'm on there as Krystle in La La Land. My name is spelled Krystle in La La Land.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on, especially since it's Friday the 13th where all the freaks are out tonight.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Friday the 13th.
Thank you so much. Everybody have a great